Pat, I am to ask you about a new wave of gaming addiction coming to America.
Everywhere around the world,
coming to America.
Gaming addiction is coming to America. So this is an article. Oh, you didn't say it yet, Ian. What is it? This is from at Mario_Void.
This is at Mario_Void. A new wave of gaming addiction coming to America. South Korea's lost generation of gamers offer a preview of what's to come.
Remember, not all gamers are a monolith. There's different people. You can just have gaming as a hobby. I have to remind people. Yeah. But South Korea's lost generation of gamers offer a preview of what's to come. This is a article from the Next Web, which I'm not familiar with this website. It's a fairly cerebral article about South Korea being in an epidemic of what's considered, I guess, a lost generation of people that are just spending all their time gaming. So in South Korea, gaming's, like StarCraft and things like that, it's a huge sport, filling up arenas. That's where esports got big at first. But it's as big as, how sports is in the US, where people dive in with this stuff. So the estimate, according to this article by Brian Clark, the estimate is that there's 1 million internet addicted children and teens out of 51 million people in South Korea. So 1 in 10. Some call the estimate conservative, claiming the actual number is closer to 50% or 5 million people aged 10 to 19. Wow. Okay. Dr. Lee Jae-won, a neuroscientist in Seoul, said that online gaming accounts for roughly 90% of those of these internet addiction cases. So what's going on? So what you have is an industry that's, at least for younger people, that's largely based on esports. It's largely based on internet gaming. You have, we all know about these places that have LAN.
Right.
You pay to do these LAN things. But in the US, they're not. You can't find them all over the place. Sounds like in South Korea, there's a lot of them all over the place. And they get filled up.
So you can't walk more than a few blocks without running into one of more than 20,000 PC bangs, the gaming equivalent of an opium den.
See, that's a little over the top of the hyperbole, but I see what you're just talking about. See, with opium dens, the problem were once you entered them, you didn't leave.
Yeah.
It wasn't like going to a club or a bar. You were in there for days or weeks. You had to be dragged out of them. Hard drugs replaced by network PCs, melodic K-pop, and a death trap of crisscrossing Ethernet cables. A lot of Ethernet cables of these. This in Korea is the preferred method of gaming. For about $1 an hour, gamers can plug in and play LAN style to their heart's content. So it sounds like in South Korea, why bother buying your rig for thousands of dollars?
Yeah.
Dealing with that, where you can go to this communal place with others, strap in with the latest technology. They show them lined up here with these, huge monitors, all these big gaming chairs. I'm surprised it's only $1 an hour.
Yeah.
To be honest, how do they make their money back that quickly?
Volume.
Oh, things like that.
Yeah.
We forgot about
drinks.
that. Food and drink. Absolutely. Or selling extra peripherals or things like that. According to this article, many log 14 plus hours before dragging themselves out of their chairs. Once home, they face a new set of challenges. Korea hosts 10 pro gaming leagues, most of which regularly air matches on national television. At least 2 networks air wall-to-wall esports coverage 24/7. So this is way above what it is. We can't even measure compared to how we
can't comprehend it.
It's not, like I said, this is huge.
Not here in the US.
So I see the point about gaming addiction, how dangerous it can become. But I don't know how you get at, can you cure it easily? It sounds like it's a whole cultural phenomenon right now. Like, how do you have to draw individuals back. Like if you have a kid that's going, 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day in the weekend, and spending a lot of time doing just that, yeah, it probably has a problem. But how do you draw them back? How do you get them treatment?
I don't know. It's as technology advances, it becomes unavoidable, and I wonder I really don't know what the course of action is when something like that is so prevalent.
I think I DVR'd this a while back, but there was a program talking about the psychology and neurology of our brains and how we get rewired our neural pathways based upon stimulus and stimuli from internet, Twitter, phones, Instagram, constantly having this stuff in front of our face. How we may not be seeing it, but the kids growing up now and teenagers that have grown up with smartphones in their hands, they are basically thinking differently than we are. Like they are processing information differently.
Oh, sure.
We just don't know what the ramifications of that is going to become as they grow into adulthood yet. We're on the cusp of that. And this isn't you're old men. Well, no, it's reality. Sorry. If a kid grows up constantly checking, I've seen this in person. People are constantly checking their Instagram feed, see what's going on. I check Twitter more than I like sometimes.
Oh, yeah, me
to
too.
see what's going on. But imagine if that's all you knew when you were 4 years old, 5 years old, 6, teenager. I don't know what high school is like now. Are kids walking through the hallways with their phones constantly doing?
I can't imagine.
Bradbury was correct, but in the reverse way. And Fahrenheit 451, people in the future were obsessed with interacting with giant screens.
Yep.
We're interacting with tiny screens.
Screen.
We're walking around. It's actually worse.
Yeah.
Because before you had to be obsessed with going home, having your viewing parties, if you read Fahrenheit 451, of these giant screens, they interacted with you.
Yep.
So he got that part way on, but just walking around with a screen, he didn't foresee that. Neither did Star Trek, by the way.
That was always the funny thing. Like, it was always make it bigger. You know, you would go and you would, that would still be the centerpiece. It was still this like centerpiece culture, like a dining table or a big TV. You'd have the big touch screen. But yeah, now everyone just looks at the tiny portable one. We jumped right past that big interactive screen era and went right to portable screen era.
We might get to an age where people won't want huge TVs. You won't need them. 2011, South Korea passed the Cinderella Law, known as the Sundown Law as well. Prohibits any minor from playing online games, whether on their own PC, a handheld device, or in a PC bang, between midnight and 6 a.m. Before its passage, all bets were off as to how long minors stayed in bangs at night or when their weary fingers succumbed to the weight of a handheld device before drifting off to sleep. I play for 20 hours per day. Choi Kyung-seo, a South Korean teen, told the Australian media outlet SBS. He then admitted that he routinely stays up past 4 a.m. to play in games for 10 to 14 hours on most school nights.
Jesus.
Where are the parents?
Yeah.
Holy shit. 10 hours on a school night? I didn't have 10 hours after I got home at 3.
Yeah.
I was back asleep. Holy shit. So the fact that South Korea had to pass a law means that we don't know, we can't fathom the extent of how this is affecting the youth there. We
don't have any clue. It's hard to even speak on the topic without having the firsthand knowledge, but I really...
College-age adults sound like are even worse, 18 to 24 range, because they have more free time, and they don't have parental influence, according to this article. It says counseling might offer the best solution. CO, the guy just mentioned, and about a dozen of his peers were among hundreds who attended a state-funded treatment facility called, perhaps ironically, the Internet Dream Village. Wow. So the government's getting involved. They know this is not good long term. What type of
product? I mean, the hit to productivity is.
Oh yeah, they're not gonna be able to fulfill jobs.
Yeah.
In society. I guess these kids have money, they can just play games for 14 hours a day without having I don't know. So we don't have any of this stuff in our society. We don't also have an epidemic to this point right now with this. Then again, we'll see where we are with a few years with Fortnite. I have no.
I mean, counseling in some sort of substitution is the only thing I can think of.
Private clinics, it's like going to AA, go to meetings with other. It's taking over your life. The problem though with gaming is that it's not like with alcoholism or drugs you can see your life getting destroyed so easily. With gaming, it's just that I think you are just cut off from everyone else,
right? And
you don't realize the hole you might have sunken into if you're playing games 14 hours a day. It's almost like a victimless crime then. You know what I mean? It's like, so what? I'm gaming 14 hours a day. But you didn't realize the hit to yourself long term, or your family being concerned about you, or you're not socializing with people anymore if you're doing it to this extent.
Sure.
So that's where we'll see if that develops in this country, if there's going to be like treatment programs, something like that, like the guy on the TV, the fake doctor that always gets made fun of. We see him. I'm the Addiction Network. You know me.
Oh, yeah.
That fake guy pretends to be a doctor. We'll see that for video games in the future. I don't know. But it's an interesting topic. You should read it. The link's below.